I am Evelyn Dell, Editor-in-Chief of Substantial Magazine. Welcome to our Lens Refocused. This is the very first Substantial Women's Forum, and I'm super excited to be here. I've been on pins and needles every single day this week because we have an amazing group of people who are ready to pour into everyone. If you are new to Substantial, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us for this event today. We definitely appreciate you guys lending your time on a Saturday morning to get this wonderful goodness. I want to introduce to you another special person that we have here on our team is Amy Hedgepeth. Say good morning to our listeners.
Welcome and good morning. Thank you again so much for joining us on today. I am so excited about today. As Evelyn mentioned, my name is Amy Hedgepeth, and I'm the Vice President of Substantial Media, LLC, where we look to educate, inform, and empower those within the Black community to live out their full potential and purpose. We look to bring awareness and share it with the world, which we've always known that we are substantial. So are our stories, our communities, our businesses, and our lives, and everything about us. So with that being said, we have a morning packed with dynamic panelists who are experts in their field. These substantial women have gathered to share their thoughts, insights, and expertise and talk about some of the challenges that we as women face. So please make sure that you connect with these amazing individuals as the day goes on. So now I'd like to turn it back over to our Editor-in-Chief, Miss Evelyn Dell.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you so much. So this day was designed to be an authentic space for genuine conversation, that safe space that everyone needs to just kind of let it all out. So we have a variety of topics today that we're going to be sharing. And through each panel, I'll tell you guys, I'll be honest with you, if you want to get the most out of this day, grab yourself a piece of paper and something to take notes with because we have so much goodness. These women have managed to lend their time in a space where, things are a little bit uncomfortable. We're coming off the heels of a very difficult year, and not to harp on, 2020 was a mess. We really feel like when we're in this space right now, we're actually very fortunate because at this time, because things were so tumultuous last year, we now have a chance to create a brand new blueprint. We have the power to come in and own the year ahead of us. We have the power to own our space. So whether that means that you're navigating a new environment or whether you are in a new position in your business or your family life, or maybe owning your own space just means simply owning the place where you are in the journey of your life at this moment. We want you to own your own virtual stage. This is the time. This is when we have the advantage of being able to create something new. So as we go throughout the day, we'll have women talking about, communities, community policing. We have some dynamic speakers, some of the first in their industry to be able to, have that position. We have women talking about business. We have people talking about health and diversity and inclusion. So we want you to be able to grab something from each of these different sessions that we have going on. We'll also have a little bit of break in between, and we'll be able to have some networking. If you look to the side, you'll see those different bullet points on the side, and you'll see a button that says networking. We'll definitely make sure that when we finish with the sessions, we'll alert you, and you'll be able to go and hop onto the other section and network with some of these dynamic people. Every time we have these events, we always have amazing connections and people are able to kind of build together. So we want you to take advantage of that. So I don't want to take up too much time because, as I said, I'm excited. I'm ready for everybody to get this. So I want to introduce to you someone who is very, very special. I believe that in the power of connection in divine alignment. Natalie Williams is our keynote today. Ms. Williams is the executive director of the Women's Business Center of Charlotte, where they help hundreds and thousands of women build, grow, and sustain their businesses. She's also a dynamic public speaker. I don't know if she decided if this was intentional for her to go into motivational speaking. Every time Natalie graces the stage, she has something powerful and impactful to say. When we designed this conference, we wanted to make sure that we had somebody who was going to deliver that message and really pour into our audience and start them off on a great note so that you're able to absorb everything that we're giving you today. So without further ado, I want to welcome to the stage Miss Natalie Williams. Thank you. Good morning, Natalie.
Good morning, Evelyn, my sister. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you for joining us.
Yes.
So Natalie, introduce yourself to our audience, and we're going to let you have the stage and we're going to let you run with it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to take it from here. Thank you so very much. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. This is how I like to start. I've been working in the nonprofit industry seems like all my life. In my early days, when I was a graduate from Stewart's Business School, which is an executive assistant program, directly after high school, I started my career in nonprofit working for a drug rehabilitation facility. This experience truly changed my entire life. In my teens and early 20s, I had to help my mother raise my nieces because of an 18-year drug addiction my older sister had, in which she was at that time incapable of caring for them. Being exposed to nonprofit work helped me realize that helping others is where my life's passion would be fulfilled. Although throughout my career, I tried fitting in corporate America, however, corporate America just would not fit in with me. Early in my life, it was in the nonprofit arena that I understood that I flourished, that the most of my gifts would be there, and that most of my gratification would be there. My then boss taught me the value of two strategic words: initiative, doing something even when not asked, and integrity, doing the right thing even when no one is watching, is how he explained them both to me at a very young age. So as a result, I have built my career on these two principles. My goals are simply to inspire and empower other women and other people that are around me. Therefore, I believe I can. And my mantra is, if I believe I can but help one person, then my living is not in vain. As Evelyn said, my name is Natalie Williams, and I am the executive director of the Women's Business Center of Charlotte, where I am blessed and I have the privilege to be given an awesome assignment to support women entrepreneurs and business owners in their journey to fill their quest for their purpose-driven life of business ownership. As a woman and as women, we are judged. We are judged by our looks and we are judged by our intelligence. We are classified by our ability to be aggressive and passive. We work harder, smarter, and wiser, and yet we still get paid less. We stay places, unfortunately, longer than we should because we feel obligated. We feel embarrassed, and sometimes and often we feel alone. But we are not alone. Today, I would like to honor and thank my sister, my friend, and my colleague, Evelyn Dell Billingsley, for inviting me to share a few minutes with you on the topic of Lens Refocused. As I said before, I am truly honored to be with you today. As we look through our Lens Refocused, the theme for this forum is predicated on what we do. It is a clear mandate and a directive controlled by you and controlled by me. So as she says, grab yourself a piece of paper and a pencil so we can begin to engage. This theme, Lens Refocus, the word lens in itself is singular. In its form, it indicates that in order to be refocused, you cannot have a double vision. Having a double vision means you are unclear about who you are, what you see, and where you're going. Double vision occurs when a person sees a double image, where they should only be seeing one. The two images can actually be side by side, on top of each other, or it could be both. The medical term for this is diplopia. You might have diplopia in one eye, which is monocular, or you could have it in both eyes, which is binocular. Generally speaking, having double vision in both eyes is more serious than it is if you only had it in one. However, the most common lens problem that can cause double vision is what we know as cataract. And that is clouding the vision that would normally be clear due to an age, getting older. Having your lens refocused means you must adjust your original focus. This is called refocus. So you must adjust your original focus. You must focus your attention, your resources, your assets on something different, on something new. You must move to something different from what you have been focusing on in the past. So let me ask you this in these few questions. What was or what has been your original focus over the past few years? And as she said, 2020 presented itself with so many issues that we're not necessarily going to focus all of our attention on, but we want to look at that and we want to ask ourselves, over the past few years, really, what has been my focus? What have you been looking through? Looking through the right lens is just as important as just looking and having a vision. What have you been looking at? And what have you been seeing and agreeing when it comes to you? When treating double vision or diplopia, the doctor may recommend a few solutions. And here are just a few. It is a medical condition. They may recommend you to wear glasses. They may recommend you to do eye exercise. And sometimes they may recommend surgery. To be refocused means to correct what was to what truly is. Our future as women and leaders in our country and in our businesses, it depends on our ability to change the lens, to put on a different pair of glasses. Sometimes it may even mean having surgery to cut away what we have seen or what we saw from things of our past so that we can focus on our future and who we are. As women of color, we have had and we still have so many uphill mountains to climb. We have been looking at ourselves from the lens through others. So just like the cataracts, we have been looking through cloudy, filmy lens that has distorted our vision of who we are. We have been looking through lens of an injustice system and of inequality. Through this lens, we see men are 26% more likely to get lending before women. And matter of fact, as of 2019, only 16.9% of board chairs were held by women. 16.9. Through this lens, we see the number of women CEOs in Fortune 500 companies. They say today it has hit an all-time high. That number is only 7.4%. And through this lens, we have been looking and seeing that women are currently earning 81.6 cents for every dollar that every man is earning. What does this mean? This means in order for us to be more equitable, women will need to make approximately 25% more in revenue. Through this lens, women in leadership have saved companies millions and millions of dollars. We are a benefit. With female CEOs as head of boards and companies, we have been able to help companies realize 25% annual return on their investment over 8 years. compared to 11% worldwide. Women leaders are agile. We have agility. We're flexible. We are quick learners. Having female senior leaders create less discrimination in recruitment, promotion, and retention. Nonetheless, in 2019, women-owned businesses account for 12.9 million businesses. I'm going to say that again. Women-owned businesses, we account for 12.9 million businesses, employing nearly 9 million people and generating 1.8 trillion in sales. While this sounds great, and while we do celebrate all women-owned businesses, which is truly, we account for 42% of all businesses in the U.S., there, my sisters, is still a huge disparity amongst women of color and women of non-color businesses. Amongst all women-owned businesses, less than 1% are making 1 million in revenue. The average women-owned business revenue is $142,900. In 2019, minority women-owned firms, on average, generated only $65,800 in revenue, while non-minority women-owned firms averaged $218,000. And our African-American women-owned firms average only $24,000. This is the greatest gap of any minority-owned group. So yes, while we continue to hear these stories that minority business are the fastest growing among the small business segment, and minority and small business jobs creation is the single most recognized area of impact for economic inclusion, respectfully, we are still facing challenges. Yes, our mountains are still high. Our lens has been clouded. However, this is our time to not only defy the odds, but define our vision and our future. We are refocused, and we are refocusing our lens not to be despaired by what the world has been trying to tell us for hundreds of years of who we are. Being refocused, we have been rebirthed. We are repositioned, and our commitment to ourselves and to our fellow sisters are to stand together. Today, I have 5 points that I want to share with you. And if you don't realize, the number 5 actually represents God's grace. So grab your pen and your paper. Number 1, be refocused. Know who you are. Be refocused and know who you are. When I was a little girl, I was very outspoken. I was an advocate at age 5, and I didn't even realize it. One of my best friends in kindergarten, Caroline was her name, had long blonde hair, and we played every day at lunch together. Well, on this one particular day, Caroline got punished by her teacher for doing I don't know what. Can't remember what that was. But I do remember the teacher grabbed her by her hair, and I became outraged. And I started crying because she was crying. And I became determined then that she was going to be vindicated. So after school, I marched myself home. I went into my house and I told my mother. I was hoping and thinking Mom was going to do something. I was hoping and thinking that my mother was going to march over to that school and give that teacher a piece of her mind. Little did I know that my mother wouldn't, and she didn't. Caroline never came back to the class after that day. I guess her mom took her out of school because she didn't want any confusion. Nonetheless, what I realized over those years from that incident is that I was born with the purpose of advocacy. You see, I want you to realize this. Your purpose, it shows up early. We just have to know how to recognize it and not to be afraid to use it. You are purpose with a gift. Number 2, be refocused and know your value. At the age of 14, I met my first real boyfriend in high school. I was a freshman and he was a senior. He was very popular and good looking. So needless to say, he was someone that all the other girls wanted to be with. So why he chose me, I don't know. But I know some way I felt honored, somehow, for some reason. I also felt better about myself. And in other ways, I felt very challenged. We dated for 3.5 years. Yes, 3.5 years. And it was hell for 2. This was an abusive relationship. I was abused so bad that at the age of 16, I almost died from physical abuse at the hands of my boyfriend. I can remember the day so vividly. I remember it because it was the day he came looking for me. This was the day I decided to break it off. I'm not going to go out with you anymore. I had come to what people call their senses. However, when he found me, we began to argue, and he nearly killed me with his bare hands, pounding my face into the concrete and hitting the ground. But God saved me. I thought to myself that day, at that very moment, if I could get away, I would live my life's purpose God's way. So I cried out, and God heard me, and he delivered me. What I realized after coming out of this relationship is that I lost so much of me, so much of who I was, and at such a very young age. It seemed insurmountable. It seemed very difficult to put the pieces back together of who I really was. But God, I tell you this story because at some point when we were going out, I didn't know my value. And I allowed someone else to tell me how good I was. And I couldn't believe in myself. And I couldn't see my own beauty. Know your value. Know that the beauty you possess is not for everyone. And it's not meant to be mishandled or abused. I encourage you, and I want you to understand this. You are precious and value, and you're a valuable jewel. So know your value. Number 3, be refocused and do not allow others to put you in a box. What you are designed to be is what God has created you to stay, which is out of the box. So we know a box has 4 equal sides, which is a top, a bottom, and 2 sides. No matter how you turn that box, it has a top, a bottom, and 2 sides. Basically, it is a container, and it is a container made to keep things in more so than to keep things out. It is used to confine the elements that are inside of it. Confinement is just another word for restriction, captive, or imprisonment. I think T.D. Jakes said it best when he said, I realized I was committing murder on myself when I allowed people to box me in with the title of pastor, because I am so much more than that. He said, I'm a writer, I'm a producer, I'm an author, I'm a father, I'm a husband. I am so much more than just a pastor. So when you decide to live your true, authentic self, decide to be a box breaker and not allow others to put you in a box. Number 4, be refocused and do not be afraid to be the change agent. You were literally born to be a change agent. By design, you were called to something bigger than yourself. You're here because you realize that and you know it. This forum is a product of a woman and a gentleman who decided to answer the call in their life and to put this together and to go above and beyond and outside of the norm. Ellen and her partner, they decided to be their true, authentic self. As a change agent, when you look back over your life, in all of the instances and the circumstances, the events and occurrences that you went through, you come to realize that no one else could have ever gone through what you had to go through to be where you are today. This is where your leadership and your focus becomes clear. And when others ask you, who are you and where are you? You are present and you have survived. You have endured barriers, unequal pay, being overlooked, being denied jobs, being denied benefits. You were told you were not good enough, judged by men to do the same work, mocked, scorned, and laughed at. But look at you now. You are still here. So do not be afraid to be the change agent that you were designed and birthed to be. Number 5, be focused and never let anyone tell you that you are not good enough. You have a call on your life. You have a call. Our lives are a reflection of God's love. When we walk in our calling, we become the mirror that others look at and they see God in us. If you were to take a few minutes right now and close your eyes, and take a minute and just close your eyes for a few minutes and remember that day, that aha moment, when you received that call, whether it was a call to become an educator, a call to become a mother or an officer, a consultant, a father, a grandparent, a student, or a leader in your community. There was something in you that not only answered the call, but in you could bear witness to that call. Keep your eyes closed and think about that. Mark Twain said it best. He said, there are 2 important days of your life. The day you were born and the day you know why. So because of that, you said yes, and you said yes to yourself. Yes, this is what I know that I want to be. This is what I know what I want to do. I was birthed for this. Then one day, here it comes. You allowed someone to tell you something different. Open your eyes. You slowly begin to behave different by what you heard. Moment by moment, you allow them to put you in a box. First, they speak against your integrity, and that puts one leg into the box. Then they speak about your passion and tell you what you can do and you can't do. There goes another leg into the box. At this time point, you begin to sit in the box. You're sitting in the box, and now you're looking out for help, not realizing you are your own help. So now you are basically 3/4 covered in the box. What you listen to has become now your beliefs, And your beliefs become so heavy because you began to believe that you didn't have the right skill, the right friends, you were not the right size, you were not the right color, your hair wasn't the right way, you were not the right height, you didn't have the right kind of speech. So you started each day in this box. And each day you started by saying, what I am not. So you can fill in that blank, but it goes a little bit like this. I am not the prettiest. I am not the most eloquent with words. I am not the strongest. I'm not even the most skilled, and I'm not educated enough. I don't even have the right network or connections. Simply put, I am not good enough at this point. And at this point, you begin to convince yourself of what you are not. So there's no need at this point to put the top on the box. You have confined yourself. But when you are a box breaker, an overcomer of barriers, and refocused, you can be what you want to be. When you tap into your true authentic self, the top and the bottom of the equal size, they have no power or control to contain you. You are not defined by what people think you should be. You are only defined by what you know and who you know you are, because you are a change agent, a box breaker, a refocused leader. As we lead today, I want you to know you are an overcomer of barriers. Yes, you are. You were made to make a difference. The mere fact that you have breath in your body is your gift to not only be for yourself, but your gift to all of those that are around you. Being refocused, we are re-engaging with one another in our community through social equity. And we are demanding, we are not just to be heard, but we are demanding to be seen. Being refocused, we are redirected to our dreams and to our passion. And evermore, we are committed to seeing them grow, flourish, and to be developed. Being refocused, we have been reestablished and are establishing our businesses and our home so that our businesses, they're not an expense or seen as an expense, but an investment. So that our businesses are regarded as essential and not optional. People need what you have. Our businesses are a reflection of our true gifts that we have been purposed with and designed for. Being refocused means we are healing our community and our family. Being refocused means we are standing in our position of power. Being refocused, it translates to being unmasked. And it requires us to give ourselves the permission to remove the covering. That covering is that thing that either lies on top or in front of, it lies around or over us. And especially in order to protect or conceal something. That's what a covering does. It means no longer hiding, covering up, or feeling ashamed. But being refocused, it means removing the very thing that had us hindered, hurt, and harmed us. So it is your call to be refocused. It is your call to be a box breaker. I encourage you today and forever to answer the call, to clean your lens, to reposition yourself and reposition your glasses. Exercise your eye muscles and refocus, because someone is waiting for you to come out of the box and be your true, authentic self. Someone is waiting for you to be refocused on your purpose and to understand and to identify that when you were born, you were and are a masterpiece, fitly joined together to bring divine healing and help to not just your business, but your community and your nation at large. So be refocused, my sisters, and walk strongly in the power and the might that you were born and birthed to be. Thank you.
Wow. Listen, thank you, Natalie, so much. I always love when I get to spend a morning with you and just hear authentic stories that come from the heart. That is the one thing that I love about you, is that you are unapologetic in owning your story. And you will never know how much that means. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you.
You're so welcome.